It all began on a chilly December morning in 2000 at the John B. Connolly Unit, a maximum security prison in South Texas. 7 hardened prisoners, each serving long sentences for violent crimes, had been quietly watching and waiting for the perfect moment. When lunchtime came on December 13th, they seized their chance. In a bold and meticulous move, they overpowered civilian workers and prison guards, stole their uniforms and guns, and made their way out of the prison's maintenance area. Then, in broad daylight, they walked out the front gate in a prison truck and drove off toward freedom. They left behind a chilling note. "You haven't heard the last of us yet." Once free, the fugitives, quickly dubbed the Texas 7 by the media, began a crime spree across Texas. They needed money and weapons, so they hit a Radio Shack in Pearland, stealing cash and police scanners. But the heist that made them infamous occurred on Christmas Eve. In Irving, Texas, they burst into a sporting goods store, bound and gagged staff, and took at least 40 guns and ammunition from the safe. When Officer Aubrey Hawkins, a young Irving police officer, responded to a silent alarm, he walked into a deadly ambush. The escapees opened fire, wounding him multiple times and even running over his patrol car as they fled. Hawkins, a husband and father, later died in the hospital. Now the manhunt heated up. The FBI and police across the country scoured leads and followed sightings, but the fugitives stayed one step ahead, at least for a few weeks. The nation watched as their faces were broadcast on America's Most Wanted, and finally, a tip came in. Some of them were hiding out at an RV park in Colorado, posing as Christian missionaries and playing loud religious music to avoid suspicion. Law enforcement moved in. In a dramatic confrontation, 4 members, including the ringleader, were arrested after leaving the park. Another member, when cornered, took his own life rather than go back to prison. The last 2 were captured a few days later in a hotel after giving a bizarre live television interview in which they criticized the justice system. Once back in custody, all the surviving members were tried and convicted of capital murder in the death of Officer Hawkins. They were sentenced to death under Texas law, meaning each one could face execution for the crime, even if only one fired the fatal shots. For have already been executed over the years, and the others remain on death row, their lives still tied to that one chilling Christmas Eve.